News Radio 700 WLW.
Our first topic du jour is talking about the fact that, and this stymies me, it's a lot of, I have to find it, a third of nursing home workers will not get the vid virus.
Why?
Or the
Is
the
there
vaccine.
a reason behind this?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That's the reason we have our next guest. Brian, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Brian Levy is with the Cambridge Caregivers and Manchester Care Homes down around the Dallas areas. And so, Brian, why would you suppose that is? Why are these people so... Because it would seem to me that would be almost... You kind of have to do it as
part of the job.
As part of the job, as part of employment.
Right, and it is surprising, and I think it kind of caught everybody off guard at first, but when you think about it, I'd say probably 75% of our caregivers in our care homes at Manchester Care Homes, as well as our caregivers on the Cambridge side, have been vaccinated. But, there's still some holdouts, and I'll tell you some of the reasons why they're holding out: allergies, breastfeeding, and honestly, most of our caregivers are immigrants, and they weren't grown up. They were not raised. They didn't grow up in the United States with trusting the government and the CDC and knowing that the doctors know best. So they're out on the sidelines. They're waiting. It's almost like they don't want to be guinea pigs. They're waiting to see what happens.
But you know what? It seems to be that it has been proven to be very safe. And if you're dealing with our elderly and the most vulnerable, it's obvious. That's been stated many, many times.
I couldn't agree more.
Right. These people, you're talking very elderly people. We might be dealing with, dementia or whatnot, but good Lord, if you're there in front of these people, very vulnerable, if you're there in front of these people, why not get the shot? And it's been proven not to be a problem.
Correct, especially at this point. You're not seeing people get needles in arms and dropping like flies. People,
correct. When that happens, I'll look at it. Right now, I'm going to be first in line when they offer my age group.
No. I'll tell you, we're excited. We got all of our staff vaccinated, all of our residents vaccinated, and now we're in the process of vaccinating all of our Cambridge caregiver in-home clients. So, and I'll tell you firsthand, the first vaccination, the first shot, hurt the arm the next day a little bit. The second booster shot, which is about 3 weeks later, hurt the arm a little bit more. Got some people a little queasy, a little bit of fever, just didn't feel great, but that only lasted maybe 24, 48 hours. We're all fine. Nobody dropped. Nobody died. Like I said, caregivers are just kind of sitting back watching and waiting. We can make it a condition of employment. We haven't yet. But
I was wondering.
That was going to be my next question, Brian. Can you effectively force people to either comply and get the vaccination, or say, you know what, we need to hire people that are willing to get vaccinated to care for these people that are at higher risk?
Certainly, yeah. It's called condition of employment, and we can mandate that they either get vaccinated. We can mandate that if they don't, that they wear so much PPE that they're uncomfortable and they quit, or just fire them. And I'll tell you, probably nearly half, 43% of workers said they feel safer coming to work if other employees mandated getting COVID-19 vaccines. I'd say about 30% said they would, it didn't matter, and 13% said they'd look for a new job. Which is interesting because I have a hunch that it's just going to be like the domino effect, and every employer is going to mandate it at some point.
Yeah.
So, Brian, aren't you afraid, though, that somewhere along the line, and it's coming, I know in the back of your mind you have to know it's coming, that you're going to fire somebody, they're just, they're standing tall, and they refuse to do it, you fire them, and they come back with some, bull crap.
Crazy love.
Right, whatever, they're, QAnon or whatever the hell they are, or, some nut job who thinks there's Martians that are controlling the government.
There are Martians that are controlling the government.
I know.
I'm pretty sure we've seen that happen.
That's a different topic. But,
yes.
But you know what's going to happen? Are you afraid of that? Because, like I said, I think you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a possibility. But you know what? Definitely in the state of Texas, you can sue anybody for anything, whether it's a vaccination or wearing green shoes. It doesn't matter. I think what helps us, we have medical staff. Our director of nursing works with our staff on a daily basis for continuing education, and that includes continuing education about the vaccine and the pros and cons and the side effects or not side effects. And I think there's a level of trust between our medical staff that it just builds trust.
Right.
Brian, how are families reacting to this news? Are they hoping that most of your staff gets vaccinated, that other people's staffs, they have to be, right? They have to be in support of this.
They want to see their mothers and dads and grandmas and grandpas, right?
That's right. That's right. And we have made the visitation hours where, we've never locked anybody out, but visitation is by appointment only, PPE, behind plexiglass, and we're really ready to bring that down and have the families come back. We miss our families, I think the beauty of the residents in our care homes, they have dementia. So I'm sure cognitively they know something's off, but they don't miss their families as much as the families miss them.
Sure.
And it's real. Isolation is real. I just did a podcast on it this morning. Isolation is real. Get the vaccine. It's not going to kill you. It's an extra layer of protection.
So let me ask you, as far as the vaccine goes, and there's been a lot of chatter about the availability of it. Has it been very readily accessible to you guys?
So Texas has done a really good job of distribution on the vaccine. We are working with a couple of different pharmacies in town. Our director of nursing, Sandy Greenberg, got very involved very early. And so we got on the list. We were probably first on many lists.
Wow.
To say that we want to get vaccinated, we want our residents vaccinated, our staff vaccinated, and hopefully not long from now we'll be able to start vaccinating families and having them come into the home. We have them in the homes right now as designated essential workers, if you will, so they can come in a little bit longer and visit with their families. But once they're vaccinated, that's just another layer that we're comfortable with. Knock on wood, our care homes have been COVID-free this entire time, through the entire pandemic.
Wow.
And that's unheard of, especially in the city of Dallas, Texas. I don't know of a facility or care home that's been COVID-free. So we're real proud of that.
So let me ask you, Brian, how have you done that? Because something always seems to sneak through, just making sure diligence and scrubbing everything down and mask and all that and everything on down the line.
So I will never forget the first call we had about a year ago. And we were on a conference call, the executive staff, and we were like, should we have the staff wear masks? And looking back at that, it's like, well, I think somebody commented, that's impossible. That'll never happen. We're not going to wear masks all day.
Somebody told me I would never wear a mask in the grocery store. I was like, no. No, I'm not. That's stupid.
Now our staff, it's just part of their uniform. They don't, it's never an issue. We locked everyone out, meaning, vendors. We have no home health, no hospice, nobody coming to the house unless, hospice is there for end of life. But they're not just coming in and out like before. Quite frankly, we have a very open door policy at Manchester Care Homes where families can come and go as they please. We have families that eat with their loved ones 7 days a week, and we went down to 0. I mean, ownership has not been in the homes in almost a year. And I think, kudos to our medical staff for locking it up and keeping the residents safe. The families, for the most part, have been so appreciative and proud and impressed with the operation and what we've done to keep their family members safe, although, of course, the isolation is real and they miss their loved ones, but they're appreciative that they're still alive and aren't suffering from COVID, hooked up to a ventilator in the hospital.
All right, Brian, with that, we'll let you go. Thanks so much. Great
Thanks
knowledge.
for having me on.
Brian Levy.